Welcome to a realm where personal growth meets expansive spirituality and where we're not just scratching the surface. We're diving deep, widening our perspectives, and having a darn good time doing it. This is the Enlightened Podcast, and I am your host, Jen Hamilton. You'll enjoy an infusion of motivation, empowerment, and inspiration that will resonate in every aspect of your life. Expect captivating stories, heartfelt musings, and my own personal experiences. But that's not all. I'm bringing awe-inspiring individuals to the table, so get ready to meet some remarkable souls whose wisdom and stories will leave you spellbound. No topic is off limits here. Brace yourself for raw authenticity, unfiltered vulnerability, and yes, the occasional splash of explicit language. We're delving into the realms of the esoteric, mystical, and the woo-woo, unafraid to explore the extraordinary. So if you are ready to venture beyond the surface, to explore the depths of your soul, and to awaken the magic of life, if your heart says yes, then hit that play button and let the Enlightened Podcast guide you on this remarkable expedition. Hello and welcome to this Soul'o Snippet of the Enlightened Podcast. I am your host, Jen, coming to you the day after Valentine's Day. And first of all, I just want to circulate some love. Valentine's Day is such a commercialized, like a Hallmark day. It can be one where you kind of get caught up in, what are you doing for it? Who's giving you flowers? Are you going out with someone? Like gift exchanges, which is all fun. But there's also this, this opportunity if you don't have someone significant in your life, or if you're not dating, that it's very easy to get caught up in the space of loneliness. And it's really interesting because I was actually interviewed on a podcast earlier today, and we were talking about relationships and, the dynamic of going through heartbreak. And one of the things that came up was the difference between aloneness and loneliness. And this is something that I want to touch on because I feel like Valentine's Day can really heighten loneliness and aloneness for a lot of people. If they're, especially if someone's gone through a separation, or if someone's gone through a loss of someone, or simply not had a partner for an extended period of time where they're like, I'm just fucking alone and it sucks. And there is a very big difference between aloneness and loneliness. And I really want to share a little bit about my journey with this. And I feel as though I have cultivated within myself this deep level of definitely excitement, but also inner peace and harmony around my aloneness. I thoroughly enjoy being on my own. I thoroughly enjoy having alone time. My life is quite busy. I've got 2 kids, I run a business, I'm always talking, whether it's through podcasting or coaching. And to have aloneness where I just get to be around no one and be in my own space, where I get to choose whether it's absolute silence, or if there's some music on, or if I'm just watching a show on Netflix, I get to decide what that is. And there has been a period of time in my life many years ago where I hated being alone. I hated the thought of being with my own thoughts and with my own energy, because I really didn't like who I was. And when we talk about loneliness is more the act of pining for someone to be with you, for pining for connection, for really desiring to be in relation with another person, whether that's with a friend, or whether that's with a family member, or whether it is with a lover or a partner. And like I said, it really gets heightened around Valentine's Day. And so if this is your experience, I really invite you to just check in with what the difference is for you between aloneness and loneliness. And also, what are the belief systems that you hold, especially around partnership? I spoke about this on this podcast I was interviewed with today, and I've been in touch with quite a few friends recently who are experiencing loneliness on a level that it's because they truly believe that the desired outcome, especially as an adult, is to be in partnership, or that happiness is found in partnership. And I get it, because there's been many times in my life where I've been wildly lonely and desiring connection. But then I've always had to come back to, what is it that I can provide within myself that I'm actually expecting another person to be providing me with? And what is the expectation that a relationship or a partnership or a divine union can bring to me that I can't bring to myself or cultivate from within. And, when we check in with what the beliefs are, we have to go back to where they initially came from. So if we take our childhood, for example, when we look at the movies that we used to watch, every fucking Disney movie out there is all about the princess or the damsel in distress in some way, and it's the man that comes along and saves her, and then they live happily ever after. So, thanks to Disney, we have been programmed from such a young age to believe that, the ultimate goal of happily ever after resides in the man coming in to save the woman or to be in partnership, or that she's so lost without him. And it happens it's happened in music as well. Like the songs that we have sung during childhood or in our teenage years growing up, singing lyrics to a song is like literally saying a mantra over and over again. And that's actually creating neural pathways to create a belief system and an experience that is based off that belief system. And so when we start to check in with where initially we had this idea that being in partnership was the be all and end all, when we check into where that came from and we realize, hang on a second, there's this programming that says being in partnership is the only way to be happy. And sure, there are elements of partnership that can absolutely fill our desires, our pleasures, our wants, our needs, but it's not the be all and end all. And I really see a lot, and I'm seeing this in clients, I'm seeing this in friends and people around me, especially women. There's a lot of self abandonment that happens to fulfill a need or a desire that sits within to be connected to a man or validated or to have some sort of attention, a healthy attention come their way because they're so deeply desiring to be seen and to be connected. And of course, we're humans. Biologically, we are designed for connection. Like, it's absolutely true that we really need connection in our lives. However, when we're abandoning ourselves, when we're abandoning our own needs to get like a slither of that, to get a need fulfilled, to get a quick dopamine hit, or to quickly get a rush of endorphins to feel something, we've got to go back to the drawing board and say, where did this come from? What do I have to believe about myself in order to have this experience? If this wasn't affecting me in the way that it was affecting me, where would my energy be going? And what can I do to cultivate a sense of love that runs so deeply that anyone else coming into my life is only adding value to that, not taking its place? So these are the questions that I've always sat within myself when I've experienced loneliness and realized that loneliness, that deep desire for connection, that yearning for partnership is something that I can fulfill within myself. It's a connection that I get to have within me. And then when I'm cultivating that from the inside, I can expand that out physically. And I always find that, if I'm experiencing aloneness and I'm desiring connection, I can experience that with friends. I can, call a family member or call a friend that I can have a chat to. One of the biggest ways in which I have found, to compensate loneliness is to get a pet. I mean, there's no one else that loves you like a dog. Cats, maybe not so much, but definitely a dog is going to potentially fill that void. If you can't get a dog, that's okay. When we break down, the energetic experience that we're having of loneliness, if there is a desire for a partner, for example, and there is potentially something or someone blocking that. So if you're deeply desiring a beautiful union, deep connection with someone, even just a physical connection with someone, but you still potentially have an energetic tie with another person, check in to see whether that's actually going to hinder you from moving forward. And this can happen, especially in the dating scene where there's a lot of people dating a lot of people. And it happens, and especially for women, like, we're emotional creatures. We naturally form bonds with people differently to how men do. Men are very physical creatures, women are very emotional. And it's so much easier for women to get attached more so than men. And so just checking in if there's any energetic attachments that you've got that are potentially holding you back from letting someone else into your life anyway. Perhaps there's an ex partner or an ex lover or a friends with benefits, or someone that's essentially standing in the way of you being wide open to receive a connection to come in your way. And remembering that, trust in divine timing. And I know it's all well and good to say this, and I know it sounds super wanky, like, oh yeah, like they'll come in when you're least expecting it and all of that. But it's so true, because you can't force connection and you can't force time. The best thing that you can do for yourself is create a space of comfort within you that doesn't so deeply desire connection so much that it's creating loneliness within you. And so just recognizing, if that's your experience, meet yourself with love and grace. Like, just meet yourself in the space of loneliness. Feeling lonely isn't always a bad thing. It's showing you that you've got a desire for partnership or connection or union. It's when it starts to, take a hold of your life and you can't function in certain ways because of said loneliness. So the invitation today is check in with yourself. If you're experiencing loneliness, ask where that perhaps came from. Is there anything else that's standing in your way to allowing someone to come in? What would your life be like if, instead of just experiencing loneliness, you saw it as aloneness and a time that you can cultivate this beautiful relationship with yourself, or perhaps, work on some projects, or, work on a business, or, fill your time with something that's actually going to be nourishing and fulfilling for you and add value to your life, and not pinning happiness or joy or ecstasy or pleasure on somebody else. That is absolutely giving your power away. And honestly, we don't do that here. Okay. So I hope you had a beautiful Valentine's Day, whatever that meant for you, whatever you got up to, whether you were with friends, whether you had a Galentine's Day with your girlfriends, whether you got to go out on a date, or whether you just enjoyed being alone, because whatever it is, it's absolutely perfect. So meet yourself right in the present moment and love every single part of it. I'm sending you so much love from my heart to yours, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode. I hope you love the Enlightened podcast, and the biggest compliment you can give me is subscribing to this podcast, sharing it, and leaving a rating and review. Feel free to follow me on Instagram. My handle is @JenHamiltonOfficial, and the podcast handle is enlightened_podcast. You can also find the video version on YouTube on my channel. Just search Enlightened, and don't forget to hit subscribe. Have a beautiful day and enjoy living the enlightened journey of life.